I have no idea what he's saying, but that is elegant, beautiful language. Go ahead.
Essentially, this week's meetings with European leaders further underscore that the potency and relevance of Trump as a world leader. It's striking that 1 month after assuming office, heads of state are lining up to meet Trump like he's Mario Puzo's Don Corleone. Trump's not chasing anyone. Macron and Starmer are coming to him because they know he's the guy that gets things done. And as far as Macron's meeting yesterday, it proves that Trump's America First approach works. Macron was here trying to figure out Ukraine, but Trump's already setting the terms, pushing a deal that protects his own nation's interests, putting his nation first, like his idea to use Ukraine's minerals to pay back American aid. That's smart. Tough negotiation. It's not just handing out blank checks like his predecessor, Biden, did. And I believe that the Europeans could learn a lot from this approach. Trump's not afraid to take bold steps, hardly, to end the war. And that's really the priority, is ending the war and ending it fast. While Macron is stuck on European hand-wringing, Trump's talking directly to Putin and Zelensky to cut right through the noise. He's going direct. Yesterday's meeting with Macron shows he's driving the conversation. Trump's driving the conversation. Macron's following his lead, not the other way around. And say what you want about Trump, but he's got charm that works. That handshake, the compliments, he's got Macron eating out of his hand, just like he did on former trips, the Bastille Day trip and the trip to Notre Dame to celebrate the reopening. It's not just optics. It's how Trump operates. It's how he builds leverage to put America's agenda first. Trump called out Europe's weak contributions to Ukraine yesterday, and he's right. America's been carrying the load too long. Macron tried to push back, but Trump's not buying it. He's making it clear Europe needs to step up, and he's the only one with the guts to say it to their face. He and those around him, like his vice president, J.D. Vance, who said it back in Munich a couple of weeks ago. Macron is over there with his tired EU playbook, more talk, more delays. Trump's bringing energy and a clear vision, end the war, secure America's interests, and stop wasting time. That's why yesterday was a win. He's shaking up the status quo, and the world is watching. I think Trump is looking globally, and as I said, his number one objective is to stop the bloodshed. And, that is the most important aspect of all of this, is to stop the killing. And, Trump prided himself as a president, unlike his predecessor, Biden, who saw a number of violent conflicts, Ukraine being only one, to break out during his tenure. Trump prides himself on being a deal maker, but not just a deal maker, also a peacemaker. I think Trump's always had the upper hand, to be honest with you, but I think it's also part of his style. He's not. It's not his great charm, and I've seen it in person as I've met him in person, is not widely talked about because it's not in the mainstream media's narrative to praise him or to give him, any kudos at all. But the man has extreme charm, and Macron has certainly felt it. I believe even Keir Starmer has felt it, where Trump was very cordial to him on their last meeting. It's going to be interesting to see the meeting later this week on Thursday, what comes out of that. But I suspect Trump will turn on that well-known charm for that meeting as well.
We must change our national security posture, because a generational challenge requires a generational response. That will demand some extremely difficult and painful choices. And through those choices, as hard as they are, we must also seek unity, a whole society effort that will reach into the lives, the industries, and the homes of the British people. I started this statement by recalling the era of Attlee and Bevin. And of course, this year we will mark many anniversaries of that greatest generation. We must find courage in our history, courage in who we are as a nation, because courage is what our own era now demands of us. So starting today, I can announce this government will begin the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the end of the Cold War. Yeah. We will deliver our commitment to spend 2.5% of GDP on defence, but we will bring it forward so we reach that level in 2027. And we will maintain that for the rest of this Parliament. And let me spell that out, Mr. Speaker. That means spending £13.4 billion more on defence every year from 2027.
All of a sudden, it was announced today that Keir Starmer suddenly talking about bumping UK defence spending to 2.5%. And you know who he's got to thank for that, of course, is Donald Trump. Trump's been hammering NATO allies for years to stop freeloading on America's military might, and now Starmer's scrambling to catch up. This isn't Labour's big idea. It's Trump's playbook paying off. And this is honestly one of the first issues that I've been able to summon any admiration for any of Starmer's initiatives. And still, it is clear that this is a reactive move driven more by Trump's bold leadership and longstanding push for stronger allied contributions. One thing that I think is very important to communicate, especially to a non-American audience, is that I very much believe that Trump's America First isn't just about us. It's about making our allies pull their weight, which will ultimately make them stronger and safer for their own citizens. Starmer's 2.5% pledge gives a glimmer of hope that Labour's finally getting the message. Trump's not here to babysit Europe's defense. He's leading by example, and even a former human rights lawyer turned prime minister can't ignore the wake-up call. But ultimately, that will strengthen Britain if you know, they step up under their own steam to support this and have a hand in this, have a say in the unfolding of this, that they're not just passive recipients of welfare. Once again, Trump has not only fancies himself, he's proven that he is a consummate deal maker, and making deals ultimately is about relationships. And so he's got to have relationships with all the players. And, you know, perhaps that's why he makes some of these bold statements as he did with Zelensky, but then, you know, invites him to the White House to very much be part of those talks.